censure hostilities, and right now I am not feeling very safe.
People don't know that on August 7th, 1972, the greatest solar flare in the history of the planet occurred. This is an abstract, some unusual features of the cosmic ray storm in August of 1972. Now you got to realize, I'm the only one that knows this. On August 6, 1972, all life on planet was put to sleep, and they were not woken up until August 13th, 1972. All this is documented, but if you notice, every time it's talked about this large solar flare, the date, the time, it keeps changing. You're looking at August 4th, the casting of the shadows. The telephone pole that was in front of my house had different lengths of shadows. The solar flare X-ray power, and here they're giving it a flare at 11:24 UT. So if you notice, time's very convoluted right here. They're giving megahertz, traveling at a velocity of 1,500 kilometers a second, in which the shock generated by the solar flare was tracked through the interplanetary plasma right to the Earth. This is an abstract from another site, which is saying that the X-ray flux increments at 1530, 1600, 1700, and 2100 are calculated for the north of the 40 degree north latitude and 75 west longitude. Different times, all saying the same thing. Something big, bigger than it's ever happened. Remember, when Noah lived, he said, God, what's going to happen? I will never wipe you out by a flood. Next time it'll be by... Alright, here another one. 1519 Universal Time.
It's May the 21st, 2022, and I want to share something really special today with you, something a little different from what I usually do. It actually came up as I did some research. First, I was finding about that big solar flare in 1972, actually, which was a blast so massive that pretty much unprecedented. I guess the only one which comes close was the one in 1859, the so-called Carrington flare. But this one goes back to 1972, and I did some research. I want to share this with you. So first I want to give you some facts. So this was an extraordinary event on the Sun on August 1st, so big that even in the Vietnam War at the time, they observed landmines going off all by itself, and they figured it was the magnetic field distortion which happened. So there was even a report written on that. You can read that yourself if you want. It's the conversations.com blasts from the past, and I guess you will find it here. This is farther down in the article where it says the intensity of the early August activity peaked when an X-class flare at 6:21 Universal Time on August 4th, 1972 launched an ultra-fast coronal mass ejection toward Earth that reached Earth in a record time of 14.6 hours. Now this is truly exceptional.
Vietnam had just launched an offensive on the country's southern border. In the spring, President Nixon announced that the only way to stop the attacks would be by mining the entrances to North Vietnamese ports. And so the American Army hatched a plan, codenamed Operation Pocket Money. In it, 11,000 underwater mines were placed near the Haiphong port to block and hinder all maritime trade for the remainder of the war. These explosives were set to detonate with the pressure of the ships passing by. But on August 4th of that year, several of these mines spontaneously exploded, wreaking havoc in the Vietnamese port. Many officials were baffled and suspected that some sort of solar interference was the culprit of the explosion, but the research done on the event was highly classified. Decades after the war had ended, the information went public. A group of researchers from the University of Colorado decided to explore the incident much further. Their study, published in 2018, confirmed that a powerful solar storm triggered the mine's sensors and led to the surprise explosions. The research has become fundamental for preventing another similar catastrophe in the modern world. Suppose a solar flare similar to the events of 1972 happened today. In that case, the globalized and technology-dependent world we've become so accustomed to could face significant consequences.
1972, an Earth-grazing fireball burst through the sky over North America. It didn't hit the ground, but instead it passed straight through the sky. The fireball entered the atmosphere somewhere over Utah and passed northwards, leaving the atmosphere over Alberta, Canada about 100 seconds later. Analysis of its trajectory showed the object was about 10 to 45 feet in diameter, depending on whether it was an icy comet or a denser rocky asteroid. No one's really sure which one it was. And that's what happened.
There's been a lot of controversy about the daylight fireball of August 10th, 1972. Some people thought it was a UFO. Eyewitnesses.
This rare footage of a meteorite in flight was taken quite by chance in Alberta in 1972. We'll show it to you twice since it's quite short. The meteorite only broke up a little and seemed to have skipped through the atmosphere and returned to space, which was probably just as well, since it was calculated to be about 150 feet across and would have caused quite some damage if it had come to Earth. Most meteorites, however, break up when they reach the Earth's atmosphere, like this one, which broke into 35 fragments. One of the most spectacular results of the accumulation of meteoritic debris of this kind in the higher levels of the
Yeah, all them niggas.
And we still out the drink.
Yeah, we on our block, nigga. Upper 8 walk, nigga. Fuck you talking about, nigga.
ABC, OBC. From having a mask.
Into, oh my goodness.
Oh God.
There's another one. Oh my goodness, there's another one.
Seems to be on purpose.
Oh my goodness, now you...
The building, I'm trying to see if it's the different tower.
I think it may have been. I believe the first one was World Trade Center 1, and it looks, from what I'm seeing on television, like it may have been the second building.
This is a piece of tape, and we may actually see another plane enter the picture here in a second.
I wonder if there are air traffic control problems.
Let's go.
Cut.
Oh my God, bro!
А они что покупали-то? Не видели, что покупали?
Так они купили тот дом, а здесь они на право публикации.
Какой дурак! Вот придурок.
Alter Scheiße! Oh, this is giỏi, em giỏi được. All right, we're gonna land the field right here. Is everybody okay? Joseph. Oh God!
Oh, it's gonna be right there. You cannot stick it in the ground. It's not gonna work. Who did that? You gotta put it in the shoe.